My boys, question 4 was justify the use of recovery strategies. It was a 7-mark question. In this particular question, the dot point that we were looking at was specifically the physiological strategies, e.g. cool down, hydration, neural strategies, hydrotherapy and massage, tissue damage strategies, e.g. cryotherapy, physiological strategies, e.g. relaxation. So in this response, you had to justify. Justify, if we look at the glossary of key terms, is to support an argument or a conclusion. So you needed to be on the side of the recovery strategies and show why they would be effective and why they would be used by an athlete. So that's the basis of it, of the question here that we're looking at. To get into this top bracket of 7, you needed to justify the use of these strategies. You demonstrated an extensive knowledge of each of those 4 recovery strategies and illustrate with relevant examples of why they would improve performance and how they would improve performance. Presents ideas in a clear and logical way. There were quite a few boys who got 7, but the boys who got in the next bracket, down to 3 to 5 mark, they failed to justify throughout their response. You may have justified in a couple of places or show justification to a degree, but that needs to be consistent throughout the response for you to be able to get into that top bracket of a 6 or a 7. So that was the big difference. Most boys were able to give an account of and describe the recovery strategies, but that major difference that you need to understand, that you need to get into that top bracket, was that justification and consistent justification throughout. So the example that I guess would assist in everyone understanding it is, if we have a look here, in order to justify, candidates need to support the conclusion that recovery strategies are useful for improving performance. For example, athletes generally report reduced stiffness and soreness in cases where they've undertaken a recovery strategy following a training or performance. This has enabled them to begin training again sooner or be in an enhanced state of readiness for the next competitive performance. So that's the area here that shows the improvement in the performance has been enabled by the recovery strategy. So for each of those areas, physiological, the neural, the tissue damage, and psychological, I should say, those areas you need to show and draw a connection, or draw a clear line of dots from why the athlete would use it, understanding what the recovery strategy is and how performance can be improved from the use of this particular strategy. An example of someone who did that really well, we won't go through the whole response, but you can see here physiological strategies involve helping the body retain its original state and condition after performance. This can be through a cool down or hydration. So he's got an understanding of what these physiological strategies are. He's explained that. He's given an example where he said running to their pre-competition state and delays the injection of muscle soreness, DOMS, or delayed onset muscle soreness. Example of this would be an athlete during runs, as the term of recovery allows him to return to performance. That's the example that I'm looking for, and that what we need to get you to move towards, to ensure that justification is a key term that we are comfortable with.